racing family that's steeped in history. But the mark that Candice Bass-Robinson will always leave is that you are the first woman ever to train the Vodacom Durban July winner and the first lady to train Hollywood Bets Guineas winner. And you now sit with a horse that is one for the ages.
Yeah, he's been a very exciting horse for me. Obviously, we've never been able to win the Guineas before, so that's, a huge milestone for Bass Racing, and, it was an incredibly exciting day. And, to have a horse like this, obviously we had Pocket Power over all the years, and, it brings a whole different sort of dynamic to the stable itself. There's a lot of pressure that goes with it, but, at the same time, there's a huge amount of joys that you get with horses like this, and I suppose it's something that everybody dreams of. They come around, for some people never, others once in a lifetime, and I think there's a lot to come from him still, and as I say, it's been a very exciting journey so far.
I suppose the question that we all have to ask is, did you find him or did he find you?
He found me. I always get, every year we get a batch of horses that come in from Drakenstein stud, and Kevin usually does, and Gainhorn usually do the selections as to where they, where they're sending what. And yes, thankfully he ended up in my lot, coming to me for the 2-year-old batch that came in.
Well, I think they normally send fillies, so it is quite an extraordinary situation that you get a colt.
They do, yes. It's mostly fillies. Every now and then there's one or two colts that come along with them. So yeah, this past year I got two colts, him and Narina Trogan, which is Beach Beauty's Silvano colt. So both nice horses. Obviously, Charles a really special one. So yeah, he definitely found me, and he had 2 runs as a 2-year-old. He won his maiden, and then he went straight into a feature race, and he won that pretty comfortably. So going into his first run, I did know that we had a very good horse. Obviously, you don't know how good he's going to be, and I certainly didn't know that he would end up being as good as what he is. But when he initially came in, he was kind of fitted in with everybody else, and I just let him get along with things until he started to show that he was ready to take a step further, and obviously physically he started really taking good shape. And as I say, we did think that he had a good chance of being a decent horse before his first run. I think that was probably his hardest race actually. He was a little bit green, and he met a decent horse of Vaughan Marshall's first time out, so that was his hardest run. And from there, he came out and won the feature race so comfortably. We knew we obviously had something special, and he's such a laid back horse. I mean, he walks around here at 1 mile an hour, and he's not a horse that freshes around, or he's really got the most awesome temperament. He takes nothing out of himself here. Obviously when he gets onto the track, he livens up, and he's never been the easiest as far as he's got a very awkward mouth, and it's been a little bit tricky trying to find the best equipment and things to make him as comfortable as we can. But he definitely has improved a lot with racing, and I think there's a lot of work that gets put into him. I think Elder does quite a lot of work riding him most days, and we're trying to get him to settle as best we can, and everything just works out perfectly.
I found an interview last night, late at night, of Candice Bass-Robinson talking about Trip of Fortune on Queen's Plate Day this time last year, and obviously plans went awry in the Guineas. It was a terrible situation, but there was a big expectation for him, and he's now a horse that has won the Green Point, and he must be a very significant barometer for the older horses compared to what you have here as this sensational 3-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, we always rated Trip of Fortune as a young horse. I thought he was going to be my first realistic chance of winning the Guineas, and unfortunately, things went awry, and as you say, and they didn't work out. I think Gelding's done it's made a major difference to him. And at that stage it was always a little bit touch and go as to whether or not he saw out the mile as well as what he did at 1400, and with the gelding he seems to have done that pretty well now. But he's also a very good horse, Andrew, and he would have gone into the Queen's Plate with a really realistic chance on Saturday. Do I think he's better than Charles Dickens? Probably not, no. But in saying that, he in himself, in his own right, is a very decent horse.
Now, this Bass family is terribly transparent. You always have been, and I had a chat to your brother yesterday because I know you've been a busy girl, and he said that Trip of Fortune's preparation for this year's Lormeran's King's Plate has not been exactly trouble-free.
No, it hasn't. He got a virus, or he ended up getting sick a couple of weeks, 2 weeks ago. So that knocked him back quite a bit, and it wasn't just like a 1 or 2 day thing. So he was out of work for a good 5 or 6 days, and he had a high temperature and had to go onto medication and things like that. So I think that does knock you. He seems to have bounced back pretty well, I must say. He's very fresh at the moment at home, and he was a fairly fit horse prior to that. So it's not like I've had to like rush in a whole lot of work with him. So I think he's pretty fit. Obviously, I think the race itself is the only way that we're going to tell when he comes under pressure as to whether or not it has really affected him. But as I say, he's bounced back pretty well. His work has been good at home. He's fresh, so I can only hope that it hasn't affected him too much. But no, it's never ideal going into a Group 1 with that kind of a thing that has to happen.
Yeah. Well, we had the Jetmaster era, we've had the Silvano era, and they're both sensational sires. This horse, Charles Dickens, makes Trippi one of the most exciting sires that we've ever seen, and Gaynor richly deserves it.
Yeah, 100%, Andrew, and I think he's probably one of my favourite stallions to progeny to train. I love training the Trippies. I think they suit my training style. The way they run, probably maybe because I've had so many over the years, and I kind of know them. I think I know them pretty well, and they're all very similar types of horses, and they've all got wonderful turn of foots. They are a little bit on the soft side. They're not tough, grinding horses, and they like you to be a little bit softer on them, and I think that probably suits my training style. So yeah, I've had so much success with Trippi that I think he's been a really iconic stallion in our country, and I think we'll be very sad to see him when he's not around one day, but hopefully Charles can take over from where he left.
Well, as we are talking, it's been a good 10 to 12 minutes since Aldo set out on Charles Dickens for his work, and he comes from this family that has this penchant for letting horses come back, nibble the grass as he's doing behind you, and I think it's very special.
Yeah, look, he's such, as I say, such a laid-back horse, and they spend a lot of time together, and after work I try to work him last, because otherwise I don't see him back here for the next 20 minutes, and if the other horse is walking here that need to be worked, I'm waiting forever. So yeah, he moseys on back and he eats grass along the way, and he's got a real fan club down the bottom there. They all stop to chat and pat him, and he loves it. The horse loves it. He enjoys being like that. I suppose it's better than standing on your box all day long. So and when he gets back here, he's straight into that manger. I don't think I've ever had a horse that eats like this horse does. He is in that manger. There's not a grain of food ever left behind, from ote to hard feed to everything. He's got the most incredible appetite for a horse, and I think good horses, that's how they are.
So now that he's had his morning pickings of grass and he's gone off to be groomed, how are you feeling inside for this historic event, the first running of the King's Plate in South Africa?
Actually, today I've actually been considerably calm for the whole week. I must say, way calmer than what I was actually for the Guineas. I'm not entirely sure why, because I think maybe the Guineas was such a, it was something that's eluded this yard for so long, and you've got a horse that's as good as that, and I think the expectations are pretty high, and I have expectations on myself as well. So I think that I was way more nervous for than what I am for the Queen's Plate. I think at that stage also you knew you had a good horse, but you didn't know quite for sure how good he was. I think I'm more comfortable with that now, and obviously he's got to step up again on Saturday. He's taking on older horses' weight for age terms. It's not easy for a young horse, and he's had 3 runs in a row now. He had a prep run, and 3 weeks later he had a hard run in the Guineas, and 3 weeks later into the Queen's Plate. It's a big ask for him, for a young horse like that, and he took his run quite hard in the Guineas, but he's freshened up very nicely, and this last week I've been very happy with him. I've started today actually for the first time to feel really excited about Saturday. There's obviously a lot of pressure that comes with everything, and I think I've got to deal with a lot of people and a lot of emotions and everything that go with it. Besides my own, there's everybody else that I carry along with me. So I think after Saturday, however it turns out, I think Sunday it's going to be a good rest day for me.
And your son has to go and break his wrist on a bicycle.
Yes, that's in between everything else. So I've had to be dealing with that. He unfortunately broke his wrist and had to have an operation. So that was the whole of last week, in amongst everything else. Yeah, she's busy looking after him now for the last week. So yeah, there are all these things, Andrew, and life throws everything at you. But somehow or other, I managed to deal with all these things and cope with all these things. As I say, after Saturday, I think, a couple of days just to take it a little bit easy, but then it's straight back into the sail. So there's no rest in this game. You get from one thing to the next, and Monday morning you're straight back to reality again. So yeah, I'm really excited about Saturday. I'm really looking forward to it, and I just hope that, you know, obviously things turn out well. And I think, as I say, I'm very happy with him, and you know, I'm confident of a big run.
My final question to you is very simple. This program is for Racing Today. It's a program that goes out to a completely different audience. People are very proud of what Candice Bass-Robinson has achieved with his family. But I know that there are people outside of racing that are coming racing specifically to see Charles Dickens, not just because it's another horse race.
Yeah, no, I think there are a lot of those people, Andrew, and I think racing needed something like this. It needed something like this, or it needed a horse like this to pick it up again. And, you know, I think Hollywood Betts and Greg Boards have done such great things for our racing in the Cape here. It's been absolutely fantastic racing this season. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. There's such a nice vibe on course. Everything seems to be, you know, people are positive, and as I say, when you have a horse like this that brings everybody back to the racecourse and, you know, creates the excitement that racing should be and deserves to be, it's amazing. So yeah, and you know, that's, I think, what makes it more exciting. And obviously with COVID and having no people on the racecourse, and, you know, everything being so dull and boring, I think Saturday is going to be a really fantastic day. Again, always puts on a brilliant day, and you know, it's a nice elegant day, and I think the weather looks fantastic, so I think it's going to be great.
Have you got a special outfit?
I have got an outfit, yes. Hopefully it's special. I don't know if it's special. Well, I'm not going to really say what it is, but yeah.
You don't mind us saying you could possibly wear a feed bag and you'd still look great.
Thank you, Andrew, but I wish that was true. But yeah, it takes quite a bit of effort to get yourself scrubbed up and cleaned up to go to the races after here in the mornings. And I enjoy clothing. I love clothes. I love dressing up, you know, and I take a special interest in that. So it hasn't been easy trying to find something to wear this year. There hasn't been that much around in the shops, and I think I kind of left it a little bit late to go and have something made. So I'm happy with my outfits, and as I said, it'll be nice to be on course to see everyone else's outfits. I enjoy that on Queen's Play Day. There's some beautiful dresses, and it just makes for a more interesting day. Even though you're so busy most of the day, I get time to look every now and then and see what everybody has. So yeah, I look forward to it, and it'll be a great day.
On behalf of Racing Today, thank you very much for producing this horse, and to Gaynor Rupert, who's done more than any words or any script could ever dictate. She so richly deserves to have this horse represent her colours.
No, she does 100%, Andrew. She's brought so much to racing. You know, she deserves every accolade and everything that she gets. To have a horse that she's bred and she races and she can take to stud as a stallion is just such a great achievement, and, you know, so richly deserved. They've got such a wonderful team of mares, of stallions, of, you know, they're breeding such wonderfully talented horses. I mean, most of my horses that I get in from here, at least, you know, 3/4 of the ones that I get in here, no matter what they all turn out to be decent horses. So, you know, really, she deserves all the success that she gets, and, you know, wonderful people to train for. I enjoy every minute of training them for both of them, for Gaynor, and, you know, Kevin is such a pleasure to deal with. So it just makes my job a lot easier, and I can only thank them from the bottom of my heart.